What is the most disrespectful thing a guest ever did at your home? Swung from my ceiling fan and ripped it out of the ceiling. Like just reached up, grabbed it, hung on for dear life until it crashed to the floor on top of him. Did he pay for it? Well, that part of the story is even worse lol. I was in college and had friends over to my parents with whom I lived with them when they were gone for the weekend. My parents knew I was having friends over and we would be drinking, but obviously no one expected this. The worst part was breaking the news to my parents, but they ended up being chill and covered repair costs. When I was a teenager, my parents had a dinner party. An infamous guest at the table shat his pants, went to bathroom, and left the soiled underwear by the sink. Went back to the table and carried on drinking. Over the course of 3 days they drank 2 1L bottles of regular mead, 2L of the expensive stuff, 4 bottles of wine, a bottle of spiced rum, a flask of vodka, and a bottle of tequila. 3 days. JFC. I had to check twice. I was angry, but also morbidly fascinated that someone could do this to their body and still appear sober enough to not rouse any suspicions. Edits 1. L for liter, not LT2. This one a single person, and he put most of the bottles back after he'd finished them. We had offered him some rum on the first evening and we watched him drink a tall glass of it like most would drink apple juice. The amount he drank would have lasted us a year or longer. I ran across someone like that. He seemed okay but quiet. After a couple of months we cross paths, and he is clever and outgoing. Next 6 weeks. Quiet, or, more accurately, drunk from morning until night. That falls into the category of I didn't know he was such a drunk until I saw him sober one time. My brother-in-law didn't feel like watching his sick child during his last stay. Well, just as expected. His kid diarrheaed all over our wool carpet. He didn't apologize or offer to get it cleaned. After finding out the cost to clean it would be half the cost of its purchase price, I decided to throw the carpet out. The carpet could have been the Bill's Christmas present that year. Too bad I didn't think of that. They invited another distant family member to our Christmas gift exchange, then didn't plan to show up themselves. 1. We wouldn't have a gift for the person. 2. They had been specifically told that the parents in the group didn't want this person near their kids. 3. The person had pending charges for sexual assault of a minor. Duck that. I would say something. We did. Then we were cast as the assholes. My brother-in-law left a vial of PCP on the couch where any of my kids cold easily picked it up. Then he had the audacity to ask my wife if we found it and told her he wanted it back. That sucks. In the same vein, my sister had been stealing my kids' medicine to get high. She was emptying capsules and leaving them behind, so I was giving my kid empties sometimes, but sometimes full dose. For about a ducking year, I couldn't figure out why he was struggling. Then COVID hit and she didn't have access to my house anymore because I'm always home. I feel you. My mother-in-law stole a month's worth of my wife's allergy meds on 3 separate occasions. Only reason we found out is because she got arrested not long after visiting us, and the cops came to our house saying we sold her the pills and we could be charged with it. I was like, you'll honestly think we are selling pills to an own meth head and we'd be dumb enough to leave our address on the bottle? I know you don't have to be a genius to be a cop, but damn. He shat in the toilet when we didn't have any toilet paper in the bathroom, and he flushed a sock after using it. It ended up being like $800 in damage. This is the same ducker that vaped mercury on a dare. Was the mercury vape before or after the shitting incident? If it was before, it might explain some things. It was after the sock incident. We were only 16 when he broke the toilet, but he was 25 when he vaped mercury. As you can imagine, he was dumb before, but he is beyond stupid now. One of my cousins poured a full can of cola over my arcade stick controller for my Genesis back in the day. I'm still salty about that one. Especially cause they made me lie to my parents and say it was an accident when I watched them do it from around the corner. My extended family was not allowed in the house ever again. I guess the adults had a thing too. No idea what, but I can imagine. You should reach out to your parents and ask. Update this thread later. Well, I haven't known where my father is for 15 years now, and I have gone no contact with my mother due to physical and emotional abuse. So, sorry, but an update isn't in the cards. From what I remember, I think it had something to do with my paternal aunts being bitchy to my mother about her food. I remember it was Thanksgiving and my mother refused to ever cook for them again. So that makes sense for the timeline. But I'm not sure at all. A former friend stole 5 from me. We were 13, and it was my weekly allowance. Someone at one of my birthday parties, I was maybe 7 or 8, stole all the cash I was gifted. We never found out who. Just thinking about that gave me anxiety and the strong feeling of injustice, and now I want to find the kid and have a nice talk to his parents. Not my home, but leaving trash in my car. I ducking hate it when people do that. Only my trash is allowed in my car. Don't add to it. My damn mailbox is at the end of my road. Where it's positioned, it's easier to drive up to it leaving my place than when coming home, so I just grab it on the way into work. Sometimes the What of Wednesday ads lives on the passenger floor till I feel like clearing it out. The worst offenders in my friendship group are 2 who infamously overstay their welcome. They generally stay over when they come round, and if I didn't make an excuse about having to go out, they'd probably stay until the next evening. I had a group like that. 3 of them. They're harmless and well-meaning, and I just smile and cheerfully tell them it's time for them to go. Nope. You can't hang while I sleep. Nope. I don't have anything pressing. I'm just done having company. See y'all next time. Once my friend stood up during a lull and said, "Okay, it's friends go home time," and drove us back. I actually really respected how upfront they were about being done. Tried to duck in my bedroom. Went back to my room for my smokes in the middle of our end of semester house party to find these 2 making out heavily on my bed, partially undressed. I didn't know who they were and neither did anyone else at our party, so we kicked them the duck out. Mayo, this reminds me of when I was hosting a party, noticed a couple were missing, and jokingly said I hope they weren't ducking in the house somewhere. They weren't. Dead serious. 2 people said it was none of my business, and no one else really responded because we were all completely baffled. They weren't joking. They legitimately thought it was something I shouldn't care about. In my own house. Became an in-joke with a couple for the next few months when I told them about it, and would keep saying things were none of your business whenever the clueless 2 were around. This was my most massive cock block ever. But damn it, if anyone is having sex on my bed, it's going to be me and not some randos we had no idea were even a part of our party. Someone who I'm no longer friends with came into my house and randomly started going through my stuff just cause they were curious. They then proceeded to grab a snack in my kitchen without asking and just sat down casually eating and proceeded to look through my art with their dirty hands. This sounds like stuff my 5-year-old might do. We're trying to civilize him a bit. My sister's friend kicked my cat BC. She doesn't like cats. I slapped the shit out of her and I have 0 regrets. My old roommate's friend was supposed to crash on our couch. He kept drunkenly bragging all night that he was going to kick my cat. I made him promise he wouldn't. His friends acted like he was just joking and being an asshole for laughs. He later told his friends that he kicked her anyway after I went to sleep. My cat is not aggressive whatsoever and would have just left him alone all night. I don't care how much someone hates cats. A cat is a very small animal compared to an adult human. Basically the size of an infant. Would you kick a baby, by the way? If someone has made hating cats a part of their identity to the point where they have to make a big deal about it anytime someone mentions cats, they are not funny. They are just an asshole. A friend was coming over and asked if he could bring a friend. I had never met that guy, but said yes, because I like to meet new people. Well, they came over and we were just chilling, drinking a few beers, and we got to playing Tekken. I was facing new guy, and when I beat his ass he got so mad he threw my PlayStation controller on the floor, so ducking hard. It didn't break, but I asked him to leave right away. What a nut job. I knew a guy like this in college. Anytime he would lose at a game he would scream, cry, then disappear for a couple of hours. Guy was a nut. Well, I'm white and my siblings are black and mixed. Some, also white, guy I was looking at starting a band with came over and we were talking on my porch. Without knowing who my siblings were, he randomly said I hate Engers. They should all hang from trees. Told him if he ever stepped foot on my property again I'd put him in the ground. I would have taken him to the backyard to show him the treehouse. My ex BF's 23-yo sister 24-yo came to a party super late at my home. She refused to drive and made my BF drive her, so they were both really late. This was kind of the introduction to him meeting my friends. She walks in, asks what we are eating, stating she was hungry. I went all out cooking for this. I was pretty excited. Made a bunch of appetizer type items, meatballs, loaded potato skins, wings, etc. She slowly looked over everything, looks at my BF, and goes, "Yeah, I'm not eating any of this. Let's go to Wendy's." I was like, "Are you serious?" But he just sheepdogged along behind her. They left, went and got Wendy's and came back. She shit talked my friends to them and judged the choice of college degrees and just acted generally condescending. Needless to say, my friends were not fans of my BF or his sister. Did you talk about it after, or did you let it simmer down to a repressed pile of vitriol and resentment? I prefer avoiding confrontation and letting myself build up resentment to the point I become a generally miserable person to be around. Lol, just kidding. She cooked crack cocaine in my bathroom with my 3-year-old in the tub and stole $1,100 in an envelope that was meant to pay my rent. You sure they didn't break into your house? No shit, right? Turns out she had a bunch of people fooled into thinking she was poor/desperate. I was fortunately no worse for the wear, but I can't say the same for her daughter, with whom she now estranged because of her behavior. She stole over $3K from her own child SMH. Used my toothbrush. Still can't get over it. What the actual duck? He peed on my family's dog. The old switcheroo. Ate spaghetti with his hands. Well, was he without a fork? Cut it up into smaller pieces with a fork, then proceeded to scoop it up with his hands. My sister's boyfriend had an argument with my sister, and he left a hole in the door, punching it. Safe to say I hated him after that. Even him breathing the same air as me, I can't stand anymore. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.